Hi guys, and welcome to the next episode of our Nest Management's Facebook Live. This is our third one now.
Third one, yeah.
And it's going great, and we're getting some great feedback from you guys. So we're continuing on this momentum to make sure that we're delivering as much value in for you guys. So
we'll be here every fortnight.
Exactly. So
whether you want us to be or not.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm Val, and I'm the marketing exec here, and this is Joe, and he is the SEO expert for today. So today we're going to be talking about SEO, and we get this question quite a lot because people kind of, set up a MyMay website or set up their own website, and then they say, well, how can I get the most out of my website? And usually a lot of the focus goes on advertising on Facebook or doing stuff on Facebook to drive traffic to their website.
Yeah.
But today it's more about like, how can we help you from a Google perspective? So
the only investment with SEO is time and maybe a little bit of money, but once you're set up, people are going to find you organically. You're not paying for that traffic, so it's a greater return on investment if you can get it done.
Exactly, and there's like a few keys that you need to kind of understand in order to get the ball rolling,
exactly.
Right? Because I think the SEO phrase is kind of thrown around a lot.
It is,
in digital marketing. It's like, SEO, have you got SEO friendly, all this kind of stuff, and it's like, what does that really mean and how do you actually implement it? So
Well, I start. Val, I've got a question for you, my friend.
Yes.
I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this.
Okay, so I'm on the spot. Okay, yeah.
Do you know how people found websites before search engines were a thing?
I don't know.
No? You would get the internet yellow pages. It was a physical book that you'd get, and you'd say, I want to know more about karate. You'd go to K, look up karate, and it'll give you 5 or 6 websites that told you a little bit about that subject.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
There you go, the internet yellow pages, or the A to Z of the internet. Wow. They got bigger every year until they were an unwieldy prospect. So search engines had to be created to index the web and find sites. Because can you imagine having that delivered to your door, trillions of websites?
That is so true.
So that's what SEO is. You are now not only trying to get your website to look good to people, you have to cater to that second audience, bots. Google's bots. You've got to make it look good for bots. And SEO is, like Val said earlier, search engine optimization. You are making little changes to your site that basically Google likes that will help index, help you rank higher on Google. I'm going to use the term ranking factor a few times today, and that is just one of the factors that Google takes into account when determining how high to place your website in the Google listing. Mm-hmm. I'm also going to talk about posts today, and I just want to clarify, I'm talking about posts on your website, sort of articles and blogs that you post, rather than posts on social media. Mm-hmm. Because today we're really just talking about your web presence, your website, and the way to help you rank further higher for that. So we've got 5 tips for you today. And SEO, it tends to be something, like you said, it tends to be a term that's thrown around and people think it's this really difficult thing to achieve that only technical experts can do. And if you're a worldwide brand and you're fighting for the top 2 spots in Google on really competitive keywords, then yes, it is a bit of a dark art. You've got to get the experts in. Yeah. But just like the content, just like the Facebook stuff we've discussed in the past couple of weeks, there are fundamentals and there are things that are really
great
simple.
Because I think, like, from a Facebook perspective, Facebook's changing so much, and that's almost a short-term strategy, but it has to be implemented on a daily basis and optimized on a daily basis. Whilst if you can get your SEO strategy correct, the longevity of your site is a lot more than your Facebook page. Exactly. So the searchability, just the more you put into your SEO, the better the results in the long run. So it's like, implementing that foundational strategy, right? That's
exactly it. Yeah. I mean, you do have to keep updated, you have to keep on top of it, but it's not like you can go away for a month and come back and you're probably not going to lose too many rankings. But if you stop going on Facebook,
that's it.
It could be a disaster. So keep posting, guys. Okay, so we've got 5 tips today. I'm going to talk you through these. Number 1, and this is key for local SEO, is get a Google My Business listing. Mm-hmm. And that ties your Google page, ties your website to a listing that appears on the right-hand side of Google. You should see this whenever you search for a business. And it ties in your web address, it ties in reviews, it tracks foot traffic to your actual location, and it gives Google a better sense of how popular your location is. There's a link in the description of this video where you can, if you've not got a Google My Listing, click on it, sort it all out. You can put your opening times on. If you're closed over the holidays, you can update your opening times, and it just it lets people know that you exist, and it helps with your map searches when people are trying to find you on Google Maps, or I think it feeds through to Apple Maps and everything like that. People are looking for you. You've got to get that listing on there, and it does help you rank higher in Google if Google ties those two profiles together. And you can put little posts on there, little ads. If you've got a free uniform offer going at the moment, you can create, I think it's only one post that shows at any one time on that little right hand box. So make sure you get your Google My Business listing sorted. One caveat to that, it is only going to be applicable for full-time locations.
Right, okay.
If you're renting a space and you're teaching out of a sports hall and it's not your registered business address, you can't have this. And it just means you're going to have to look at other things.
I think, that's a really important point as well, because a lot of businesses that you search sometimes have not filled in that information correctly.
Yeah.
And there's so much information that you can put on there, and it's kind of, they kind of say it's a very high valued space.
Oh yeah, right hand side.
Right hand side, and it's purely based on just your business. And sometimes you'll find even the images that are, come up aren't the correct images that you'd want to portray your business.
Yeah, so some high res images inside the
Yeah.
JoJo, so some images of you teaching. The same like shop, how do you call it, the storefront that you put on Facebook, you need to put on the Google My Business listing.
Yeah. And updating that as well on a regular basis to
and
make
it often
sure.
gets forgotten. We don't update ours enough, and we're we're telling you guys, but we don't always practice what we preach.
Yeah.
We need to update our images a lot more often and sort of show our best.
Yeah,
our
exactly.
Best
Yeah, and then what about because it also displays your Google reviews, which are quite important.
And it does show your Facebook reviews as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Ties it all together.
And reviews are such gold, but I think when we talk about content distribution and say you have a piece of content, how do we distribute it from Facebook and social media and Google, etc. on your website, but also like your reviews are a piece of content that you need to kind of distribute across all platforms. Including if someone is leaving a review, a video review is great, but if they can get a Google review, that will help your listings, and that's something that is so important. So even going out to you guys, if you haven't already, leave Nest Management a Google review.
Absolutely.
Because it does help us out, and of course, if we ever use your services, we'll leave a review as well.
Of
course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, do that now, guys. We'll pause for a couple of seconds where you can leave us.
We'll just wait here till you don't.
So, Google My Business listing, very important. Number 2, this is a bit of a technical one, but I'm going to give you a top tip for this. One of the biggest ranking factors for Google is site speed, and you're going to try and keep their initial load of their web page under 4 to 5 seconds, and people really drop off after that point. If you're hanging around for a page to load, people leave. And if you've got a MyMay site, we try and take care of all that for you. Just a couple of technical issues there. Our sites are all hosted on UK servers, so if you have an American server and the traffic has to go transatlantic, that does make a bit of a delay, and that does make it a little bit more difficult for your page to rank. But all local servers, we make sure you've got an SSL certificate, and we try and keep our pages clean and nice and loading fast. Yeah. But the thing that you guys put on, and we see this quite a lot, is images, and large images really slow down a website. If on the initial page loads, Google's trying to load loads of really high-res images that are way bigger than it needs to be to show on a desktop or a phone. Yeah. It slows down page time, and that is a ranking factor. So in the link of this video, I've put in the description of this video, I've put a link to a free website where you can upload your images, compress them, reduce the size, and then they'll be suitable for web. Yeah. If you've got Photoshop or anything, there's a Save for Web option, which sort of puts it in a nice compressed format that's a little bit quicker. But that is definitely a number one tip, because we see this loads of times. And what you do is you take nice photos with a DSLR, or you take them on your high res, decent phone. You just upload them, because why wouldn't you? Think that's a great photo, you put them on, but you don't really think about the massive size of these images, and they are just not fit for purpose. They're too big because they're only going to be displaying on a laptop or a phone. Yeah, you got
to understand that the user journey is so important, and at every stage of your business strategy or your social media strategy or whatever, the user is at the core of it, at the top of it. You have to think about, would you load the website, and how long does it take you to get to the information that you want? And also when it comes to social media or anything, what is the user's journey? And it just comes to that, if they're interested and they land on your page, they're there for a specific reason. Now, if it takes too long for them to find the information they want because it's loading and they can't see the image that's really engaging and going to get them even more invested, then you've just lost someone. You've disengaged them, because it takes less than, 4 seconds is what the average speed should be. I'm sure it's that or less than that for someone to disengage and say, this website's not working.
Exactly. The information needs to be right there. Yes. Google does track where people click. They track how, if they leave a page almost immediately after clicking on, thinking I can't find the information I need, I'm not even going to bother.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good. They track how long people spend reading blogs. I mean, especially if you're using the Chrome browser, there's been so much news recently that Chrome's basically like a spying tool, but that's the way Chrome works, and they do track everything. And they do know how long people spend on your site. They do know the user flow, and if it's not optimized and people are leaving your site or getting disengaged or just clicking off, then that's going to affect your rankings. And people don't really think about that. They think it's lots of little technical tweaks, but there's no shortcut to SEO these days. There's no quick fix, and you really do have to put the user first. That is the number one thing. Just think about how humans are using your site. Exactly.
And I think like it can get so complicated because almost like this information could sound so overwhelming to a martial arts instructor to think, well, I'm teaching my martial arts style, and I've got to think about SEO and think about this and think about user flows and the user journey and stuff like that. But it's actually really simple. It's
you guys use websites. Just think about how you would want to experience.
We all use websites every morning. I don't know how many websites I've already visited just this morning, getting up, searching different things, and it's just like take the journey as if you were taking the journey as your target audience, and how does it feel. So that's why we're trying to simplify it today with the 5 tips, and I think that's really powerful. So
spot on. Okay, tip number 3 is about your content, and this ties back to the content that we're constantly plugging on these live things. There's no shortcut. You have to put good stuff out there for people to engage, and it's very important with posts and blogs. So there's 2 types of blog posts or page posts that are going to be useful for SEO. Number 1 is, I'm going to read from my notes here, comprehensive, authoritative, evergreen content. Now, evergreen just means it will be as useful to somebody today as it will be a few years from now. And something like the history of karate is going to be something that people, it's not going to change, is it? You're not going to have to update that page too often. But that has to be really authoritative and really comprehensive. Now, if you Google some search terms and look at what the top ranking blog posts are, often they are something like 10,000 words long, with loads of custom images and videos and links to other sites, so that the sources are backed up. That is comprehensive and authoritative. They know what they're talking about, and they've not missed anything out. And that's what Google likes for the very, very top posts on certain search terms. So if you can take the time, and if you know something really, really well, that is gold, because that is evergreen content. You don't have to update it very often. It can be a living, breathing document. You can come back to it and edit it every now and again, but the majority of the content will stay exactly the same. Have that on there. I mean, 10,000 words is the top end. That's what sort of the absolute experts do. But if you can write a couple of thousand words on something and it's going to be really comprehensive, that's evergreen.
And that's the thing. I think from talking to a lot of clients, they have such vast knowledge about what they do and the intricacies that they go into. It's like, wow, I wish you could almost say what you said, but in a blog form. So exactly. I could tap into that, and then Google could tap into that, and people could get so much value from it. But I also say, like, you don't always have to work so hard. Like, you could work smart. There's so many platforms out there that enable you to, send someone a brief for them to write these blog posts for you. So if you're a full-time martial arts school and, you have so many things that are going on, trying to manage, your social media, trying to manage, things on MyMA, trying to manage, your website, if this, when will you actually have the time to write a 1,000-word blog or a 10,000-word blog? You just wouldn't have the time. But if obviously talking to you today, you can see how valuable and important blogs are to.
And you don't need a lot of these cornerstone evergreen pieces of content. Sort of 3, 4, 5, because they will stay there forever. And you sort of about the style pages. Exactly, even 1 or 2 is enough.
So 1 or 2 are fine. But even if you had to outsource some of those some of that content, that's it's widely available online. Just give it a search and you can find that if you can't create that. But it's just important to have that content there on your site, right?
And you can repurpose it. You can make it into videos. You can make it into infographics. Once you've got the information, you can split it out and do it a few different ways. Because as we said before, different platforms like different types of posts. Facebook loves video. You can make a video about it. You can put infographics out there. But on your website, text is kind of key. You can have the rest of it, but Google's reading this. It's not just for the people.
And that's it. And that's kind of what we do. Always talking about practicing what we preach. We kind of have a top level piece of content, and then we distribute it on our socials through video, through infographics, and then on our blog.
Email it out to people.
Email it out. So we kind of cover all bases from one piece of content that all the time has been invested into, and then kind of flowed it through. So those are kind of the tricks on how to kind of develop that kind of strategy, right?
Absolutely. So the second type of post that you need
Yes.
is your news posts, your sort of your day-to-day, your week-to-week, and they can be shorter, sort of 700 words to just over 1,000 words. Try and push it 1,500 words if you can. But they're sort of, if it's anti-bullying week, talk a little bit about bullying. If it's mental health awareness week, talk a little bit about that. You can do a focus on an individual student of the week, if you just write a short post about the student of the week. Because what Google likes is fresh, unique content.
Yes.
So you've got to just keep churning that stuff out there. And if you can have a blog as often as you can, really, I mean, ideally you'd do it 10 times a day, but do a weekly blog, a fortnightly blog, keep the posts coming. They don't have to be long, they don't have to be as comprehensive as evergreen content, but try and make them timely. You do rank better in certain times of year. If it's anti-bullying week, then anti-bullying stuff will sort of shift to the top of Google. The algorithm sort of shifts and changes.
And talking about uniqueness, you don't have to be generic. So don't go from a generic point of view. For example, say that one of the blog posts, or say it was like anti-bullying week, and it was what is anti-bullying week, and blah, just go get a bit unique. What do you think about it? What's your opinions on it? And how do you kind of develop strategies around anti-bullying in your dojo, in your school? So
definitely don't write things too technical, and don't write them too formal. You want a sort of conversational tone with these blog posts.
Mm-hmm. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Okay, so that's number 3. Get your content out there. We're always talking about content. Number 4, links. Links is how search engines work. It is the key point really in long-term SEO. So let me tell you how Google indexes sites. They will look at a website, and they will look at the websites that site links to. They will look at the sites that those sites link to, and down and down and down. So Google works out what sites are authoritative on certain subjects. So say you had loads of martial arts websites and they were all linking to your martial arts website. Google would say, 7, 8, 9 sites are linking to this one site about this one topic. This site must really know about that topic, and that's how you boost your authority score. Other people are linking to the content that you created. So, for example, if you get that long piece of content, that history of karate or history of taekwondo or whatever it might be, and a lot of people think that is perfect, that sums it all up, that is a great piece of content, and other websites, other karate websites might link back to your piece of content. The more sites that link to yours, the more authoritative Google thinks your site is, and the higher you rank. And there's a few ways you can do this. Link outreach or link building is a time-consuming, difficult thing to do, and not a lot of people are sort of willing to put your articles on your site or give you a link. It's a long-term project, but every link that you can get helps. And I was asking a question because I always thought link building was something where you need thousands and thousands of links to really make a difference. But I asked a bit of an SEO expert on this, more of an expert than me on this, and they said that all you really need to do is outrank your competitor. So if you've got a karate school down the road from you and they have 0 links and you have 3, you're outranking them, you're doing better than them, you probably appear higher than them on Google. So it's not an all or nothing, it's not a massive game. You don't have to get hundreds of links, you can really just get 1 or 2. So the content is the key to that. You can write content that you think people will link back to. By the way, social media doesn't count that much. Social links don't count so much for SEO. It is websites linking to other websites. Or you can ask to guest blog on another site. Now how many people? We've got a handful of people watching this now. There's going to be more people watching it later. There's a load of you in the community group. If you want to get involved in guest blogging on other people's sites, leave a comment on this video. Because then you guys can get in touch with each other. You can say, look, I'll write a post for you, you write a post for me, we'll link back to each other's sites. And with the network that Nest has, we've got so many websites, so many martial artists. If you guys are writing pieces of content for each other and linking back to each other, then the community of websites will get more authoritative on Google, and all of our sites will rank higher over time. And also, if you are a bit of a writer and you do want to write a longer form piece of content, get in touch with me if you'd like to write something for Get Into Martial Arts, and we'll link back to your site. It'll be great to have more people, more of the schools that we're linking on Get Into Martial Arts involved in the content that Get Into Martial Arts is pushing. Because obviously you guys are the experts. And if you can write something for us, we'll definitely link back to you.
Exactly. And these platforms give you an opportunity to kind of express your passion and where you're coming from. So I think, given the time and the thought, I think it can be so valuable for certain things. And Get Into Martial Arts is a platform that can be utilized to not only promote like brand awareness for a certain club, but also deliver some valuable information from the instructors that actually, you know,
these are the instructors that are listed on Get Into Martial Arts,
Yes.
and these are the expertise that you're going to be tapping into, and it helps people understand.
It's a great opportunity. It's a great opportunity.
And obviously, we'll be linking back to your site. Everybody wins.
Exactly.
Everybody wins. But yeah, you know, cross post on each other's sites. Look for martial arts websites. Look for things related to your style, related to what you do. Send them an email and say, "I'd like to do a guest post for you." They'll get questions like this quite often, but if you're a decent writer and you can add a bit of value to their site, they're looking for content, you want the link back, and it's a great way to sort of gradually boost your score on SEO.
Even like your local newspaper,
Exactly,
the local area, you know, there are now so many websites that need content. And you know, it's a brand perspective, you know, brand awareness. That's the aim of you getting these links in, to get people to your site. And then from a social media point of view and from an advertising point of view, the more people that can, you know, get on your website, the more reason you have to start engaging the Facebook pixel, the Google pixel, and then retargeting them with you know, advertising. So, you know, focusing on your website is very important, and it still is and should be the hub of your traffic. Yeah.
I mean, we talk about these things sometimes as they exist in silos, like this is Facebook marketing, this is SEO, but it all links together. The more traffic you get to the website, the more you can engage the pixel, you can create custom audiences, the more content you have to post on social, and it all feeds into each other, doesn't
definitely.
it? The other thing about links is directory listing websites. Now, they don't always give you follow links, which means they don't always give you links that Google counts as a link, but it is always worth to be on as many directories as possible. So Get Into Martial Arts is an example of a directory. If you can find any martial arts directories, and you know, it's worth having a listing on there to link back to yours. But even more valuable than that is if you can find businesses or organisations that would be interested in self-defence or martial arts and that offer them a service. So my top tip for this is, if there's a student union near your area, contact the student union. And if you have the capacity, and if you're willing to offer free self-defence lessons for students over a short period, you know, every term, for example, you do a couple. Contact the student union and ask them to link back to your website. Make a page that offers these self-defence lessons, and ask them to link back to your website. Because the goal really, if you could get an .ac.uk link, that is really valuable. Google likes really authoritative sites to link back to yours, and that's really where the power is. So .gov and .ac.uk websites are like the gold standard for getting a link. But if you can get an NTU that's really related to NTU. No, what's it? NUS, the student union that's related to academia, to link back to your site, then that's going to be a great link. And obviously the people that come to these self-defence classes might sign up at a later date, and you know, there's a few wins from doing something like that. But anyway, you can get a link on a directory listing, or a business that might be interested in self-defence or martial arts training, definitely get that done, because links are it's how the internet works, it's how Google indexes, and it's still a very powerful ranking factor.
Yeah, exactly. And this is important. Like, I think this is so valuable because you know, a lot of people that, you know, I talk to kind of see their website as just a you know, a brand packaging almost. Like, this is what we do, this is who we are, and this is what it looks like, and it's really kind of focused on what it looks like, rather than how does it actually technically work in order to promote my business and get, you know, my business to work through websites. So when people talk about online businesses, SEO is a massive part of it. So all this stuff that we've listed today, and we'll kind of list it in the description as well.
Yeah, we put a few links there.
What we've gone through are so important.
The last point is user experience, and I think we've kind of touched on that already. Really, I know I said you've got two audiences, but you've got humans and bots, but bots are getting better and better at understanding what humans like. So really put your user experience at the heart of the website design. So if you've got a page for your kids' classes, get one of the parents to have a look at that page and say, if you were coming into this cold, does this page have all the information you need? Does it list the benefits? Is there a clear next step to take if you want to make a booking? Does it show the right images? Do you want more testimonials? Sort of probe a little bit and ask them what they think's important, because that's the audience for your site. And do the same thing for your homepage. Have a look at it with fresh eyes. Get another person to look and say, look, is this all the information that you'll need landing on this site? Because like we said earlier, I mean, Google tracks if people look at a site, think, no, this isn't right, and leave straight away. That's called a bounce, and you've got to keep your bounce rate low in order to rank high on Google. And they track if people are achieving goals on websites, if they're making a booking, if they're taking an action, if they're spending a long time reading a blog, and Google knows that your site is engaging, it's fulfilling the purpose it's intended for, people spend longer on it, and you rank higher.
Yeah.
Google's tracking all that. So think about the users, put the users at your heart.
Yeah.
So there you go, that's our top 5 tips. Google My Business. Try and increase your page speed by reducing images. Put content at the heart of your website. Try and get links from other places and concentrate on the user experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, if you're interested in SEO and you want to try and get involved and increase your rankings, we have an SEO bootcamp that's exclusive for Nest clients. So this is a 3-month course. Every week you'll get an email with 2 or 3 things that you can do to increase your rankings. So it goes through the Google My Business stuff. It teaches you how to write blog posts. It gives you some blog post ideas. It tells you how to get guest posts. It teaches you some of the tools within MyMA that you can sort of gauge if your content is going to be SEO friendly. It's exclusive to Nest clients, 3 months course. The link is in the description. Just put your email in there and you'll be able to sign up.
Yeah, no, that course, that bootcamp is amazing. Like 3 months worth of content to really get you to be a master of your own site, really.
Yeah, and it teaches you the tools you need, I think, to carry on afterwards. I mean,
so everything that we spoke about and more and more and more is just, it's really good.
Worth.
So it's fantastic. So is that everything on SEO?
That's everything. Those are my top 5 tips.
Yeah. So that's brilliant. I found that really valuable. I think that was really good. So other things that we wanted to talk about was just kind of a quick Facebook update. People who are actively advertising on Facebook soon. Facebook are implementing they're shortening the amount that you can write on the description of your ads. So initially you had 6 lines that were the most impactful part of your content, and that's where you could really deliver the value in your offering.
That's what people saw before they had to click.
That's right. See more. Exactly. So it's the first thing, the first 6 lines that you saw. But now they're halving that. They're going to 3 lines. So you have even less of an opportunity to really sell your product. So you really need to think about how can you get them to really engage in your advert. So that's something to think about.
Do you think they've done that to push to video? To get people to
they have, I think, because they are really trying to get everyone to kind of do more video and communicate what they've written in video form. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to be in the video, but they're trying to look at like how creative can you get with video, using different forms of images, text and people in the video, whatever it may be. But that's where the value is, because they found that engagement increases through video rather than text. So that's why that they're trying to make sure that people are constantly engaged with Facebook and they don't leave the platform. And they found that videos what keeps people looking and searching and scrolling. So but that's something to think about. Other than that, they're testing some beta advertising platform at the moment. I think it's working on my page at the moment. Like the ads manager's changing, the whole user journey is changing.
Yeah, it's to go with then the redesign of the feed and
of the thing. Yeah, exactly. So you might see some changes, and you might think like, oh, this doesn't look like Ads Manager. It's still Ads Manager. Things are just placed differently.
It works the same, doesn't it?
It works exactly the same. But if there's any questions on what's changed, and if you find it difficult, just give me a call and we can go through it. But it's exactly the same. It just looks slightly different. The buttons are just not in the same place.
It was funny because we were having a meeting last week and we sort of joked about how often Facebook changes, and I think a day later
they changed.
In fact, we found the dashboard had changed within that meeting, and a day later we found out about the 6 lines to 3 lines.
It was so funny because
it is constantly updating.
It had changed on mine, but it hadn't changed on yours. So they're just kind of rolling it out at the moment. So you might see that if it works and people are enjoying it, I think they're going to roll it out to everyone. But that's it really. I don't know if we've got any questions. Have we got any questions from anyone?
No, we never do we? Come on, guys. Get involved. This is interactive video.
Yes. And if you have any questions, as we always say in every live, the funny thing is that we always get questions after live.
Yeah, people call or email or sort of send us a direct message.
Which is great.
But I don't think people want to publicly ask these questions.
Yeah, and interact. But that's fine because but just know that we are here.
Yeah.
If there's anything that you want to talk about marketing related,
We'll answer them. We saw a great post afterwards, after the summer retention. Somebody that put their idea for summer retention on the Facebook community group about having stamps for every lesson that they'd attended to try and keep people engaged over the summer. That was a really good idea.
Yeah,
So if you've got any summer retention tips, definitely put them on the Facebook group because it does it helps everybody.
Yeah, and that's great. So in the future we are looking to do other things. We're not only going to be talking about marketing, we're also going to be talking about tapping into the classes and talking about sales and all sorts of things. So if there's anything, if you really want us to cover, let us know. Either give us a call, email us, or comment below, and we can cover that in the next 2 weeks. But other than that, I think we're done for today.
We are. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's been great.
It's been a good one. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Cheers. Thank you.